Hey guys, you know who it is? It's your girl Monica. Okay, now, real quick, hopefully a quick video. This is all about divorce. So we all know that I've gone through a divorce. It's been about a year now. I just wanted to come on here and share about divorce. And people, I mean, they sugarcoat it, they whitewash it, they sweep it under the table and so forth. But I feel like I need to give the real of divorce. Okay, so I have 5 phases that you go through in divorce. Now, again, this is not medical. This is just what I went through. This is what I've seen other people go through. So 5 stages of divorce. Okay, the first one is anger. You're angry. You're angry that it's over. You're angry that your dream didn't come true. You're angry that the person did whatever to you. You're angry that you have to be by yourself now. You're angry that you're single now. You're angry that you're a single mom or whatever the case may be. You're angry. You're angry at the world. You're angry at God. You're angry at your children. You're angry at everything possible. You're angry. And you don't know, sometimes you don't know why. Sometimes you know why, but you're still angry. And it's a lot. Anger is a very strong and harsh emotion. And you feel it consistently. Now, mind you, I've only been married for a year. So could you imagine those people that has been married for 25 years, 20 years, 10 years, 15 years, and all of a sudden it's done. And even if it's a mutual decision, you still go through your phases and it's still tough. So divorce is death. It truly is a death of one thing, hopefully the beginning of something else, but it's death. So you're angry all the time. You see other couples smiling and laughing, you're angry. Why couldn't that be me? You see births of children and whatnot. But why do I have to be a single mother? Why can't I have that lifestyle? He's this, he's that, blah, blah, blah. Which brings me to my next point. Number 2 is blame. You want to blame everybody. Oh, it's their fault. It's his fault for not loving me. It's his fault for cheating. It's his fault for, he's too young, or he's too old, or he never loved me, or he didn't love my family, or I'm too fat, or you blame everything, everyone, everything, which comes into a woe is me point. But you blame everything. Oh, well, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be home. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have those kids, or 5 kids instead of 3 kids. I wanted to have 3 kids, but he wanted to have 5 kids, and that's not right, and it's all his fault, and blah, blah, blah. Blame. It's very unhealthy because you're not taking responsibility for yourself. And in every situation, you have a part in it. Good, bad, or indifferent. You have a part in it to make it go good or make it go bad, but you have a part in it. So blame is 2. 3 is sadness, which really piggybacks on blame, because blame puts you in this woe is me mood, and it's woe is me. Oh, if it wasn't for, and it's not fair, that you start blaming God. God, if you didn't hate me so much, I would have a better life and whatever, which again puts you into sadness, which means depression. Oh, I'm just no good. Oh, I'm just a fat cow. Oh, no, I'm unlovable. Nobody's gonna love me in my situation. I'm divorced, or I'm divorced twice or 3 times, or whatever the case may be. I'm divorced, or I have young kids, or or like my situation, I have a young daughter that's 2 now, and a teenager, 19. So there's a whole different world. So it's going to take a special man to come and fill in that whole gap there, because I don't have little kids that run around and be like, daddy, 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 and then I don't have grown kids that are out the house. So I have both, So it's going to take a God sent man to deal with that type of situation. So, but then you get the sadness, and who's going to love me, who's going to love my kids, and, this world and whatever have you. So anger, blame, and sadness piggyback off of each other horribly, because then you look around, you're depressed, you're sad, you're lonely, you isolated yourself from everybody, which is what I did. I call it hermitized. I hermitized myself, and I became this hermit, dealing with my kids in the house, That's it. I didn't go out. I didn't, do things. I didn't hang out with my friends. I barely even called them. The whole 9 yards, I hermetized myself. And that's always bad because that leads to depression. It leads to weight gain. It leads to health issues, the whole 9 yards. So that's those three things are horrible to have, but you have to go through them in order to get to the other side. Next, number 4 is grieving. With sadness comes grieving. And you have to grieve. You have to. I don't care. I only been married a year again. And there's a time period where I was just lost. Because again, that was my forever. That was I'm going to be old and gray with this person. I'm going to be, one of them couples that sit on the porch and be like, I've been with this fool for 30 some odd years and we still fight about the mayonnaise being open. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. So I had to grieve it and get rid of it. Get rid of those ideals. Get rid of the fact that it didn't happen, or it should have happened, or it could have happened, or all those things like that. And grieving actually gets rid of the anger, the blame, and the sadness. Yeah, anger, blame, and sadness. It actually gets rid of those things. If you grieve and if you allow yourself to grieve, it gets rid of those three. So grieving is a very important process of anything. We have to grieve our parents and loved ones dying. We have to grieve if we really love that job and we got fired, or they laid us off because they're closing or whatever have you. We have to grieve the growing up of our children. We have to grieve the moving out of our children. We have to grieve our spouse passing away, or they decide they don't love us anymore and they move on, or they divorce, or they cheat, or whatever have you. We are in a constant state of grieving of something, big, small, whatever have you. So, but you need to grieve, and you need to grieve properly. With grieving, after you get into this grieving mode, now we're not talking about woe is me mode, we're talking about grieving mode. Now, after you get out of that grieving mode, or start to understand yourself in this grieving mode, because that's what happens. You internalize yourself. You can cocoon yourself, as I like to say. You can cocoon yourself. And again, that's with the hermetizing thing. You can cocoon yourself and you start to learn who you are. You learn what you like, what you don't like. You learn what you'll accept and not accept. You learn to forgive yourself. You learn to do these different things that are helpful to your new person, because you're not the same old person. After you had a major loss, a major death, a major whatever have you, you become a new person. Hopefully a good person, a better person, but you still become a new person. That's like people, extreme case. That's like somebody that commit murder for the first time. Before that, you are innocent and sweet. I don't think I want to do it, or whatever have you. You commit murder, even if you didn't want to do it. You're a new person after that. You have changed. Your body has changed. Your mind has changed. Your makeup, who you are, has changed in total. Same goes for divorce. Same goes for marriage. Same goes for a lot of different life issues and happenings and so forth. You change. So in grieving, you change. You change who you are, your standards, what you believe, what you don't believe. Now, I'm not saying you change everything completely, but for the most part, you change. Hopefully for the better. Then the last stage is forgiveness, which is where I'm at now. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is the hardest part of everything. Anger is easy. Blame, sadness. We do that every day. We blame each other. We cry. We're sad. We're lonely. We hermits. All that stuff is fairly easy. Forgiveness is the toughest part, because not only do you have to forgive yourself, you got to forgive that other person. You have to forgive the situation. You have to forgive everything. Now, forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for you. So you can move on. So you can learn your lessons and be happy. Forgiveness is the hardest stage of divorce. So again, a year here. So I couldn't imagine 15 years, 20 years, and whatever have you. And it's just over. It's tough, especially if she was blindsided. If she knew it was coming or whatever have you, that's different. But if it was blindsided, like all of a sudden, boom, we're divorcing, what? But forgiveness is the hardest stage ever, because forgiving yourself for loving someone that you shouldn't have loved, for having sex with someone that you shouldn't have even opened your legs with or legs for, forgiving yourself for having all them children with somebody that said they didn't want to have children, with somebody that said they don't like kids or whatever have you. Forgiving yourself for giving him, if it's a him, every single bit of you and reserving nothing for yourself. Forgiving yourself for letting him have control over you and you not controlling anything in your own life, your own mind, your own world. Forgiving yourself for laying it all on the line and he's not giving anything in return, or he's not receptive to it, or he's not, jumping up and down because you gave him everything you have. Forgiving yourself for having to deal with him when he's unlovable and you still gave him your everything. Forgiveness of yourself. Then forgiving him for not knowing how to love you. Forgiving him for, treating the kids badly. Forgiving him for, if it was physical, for physical violence, for sexual violence, for mental violence. Forgiving him for his misdeeds. Now, you don't have to necessarily talk to him and say, hey, I forgive you. Okay, if you want to do that, then fine. But forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for you. And you have to forgive him or her regardless if they deserve it. Regardless if they, accept it or not. Regardless if they're a good person or not. You have to forgive them because that's the only way you're going to move on. That's the only way. We have kids. I have a kid with him. And I have to see him every other weekend. So if I hated him, how much torture is that going to put me in? Or am I torturing myself rather? If I hated him, I'm seeing him every other weekend and I hate him. I hate the sight of him. I want to do bad things to him. I'm torturing myself. I'm putting myself at a disadvantage. I'm also showing that he has such rule over my life and such control over my life that even all after the fact that I still hold feelings for him, that I still can be affected by him. And people that don't have good intentions love that. They love to know that they got control over you, even way after the fact. Because then that leaves the door open for them to say, oh, if I ever wanted her again, I can have that. Because look how she acting towards me. Forgiveness, you have to. You have to. And I'm in that stage now, kind of like in the middle now. I'm not quite 100% there because it takes time. It takes a lot of time to not hate that person, to not key that person's car, to not, because my daughter's still in diapers, so don't diaper bomb that person, throw them in the windows and whatever have you. I think like that. But it's hard. It's hard not to be like, you know what, F you, and nah, and you ain't good, and you ain't a man, and nah. But okay, what good is that doing? Does that make your heart heal any faster? No. Does that put any money in your pocket? No. Does that feed your kids anymore? No. What does that do? Besides, let him know I was right to not deal with her, or right to let it go, right to divorce, whatever have you, because she's really crazy. Look at her true colors coming out. So forgiveness is important for you, for your soul, who you are, and to move on, because one day God is going to bring your true soulmate, your true soulmate. That old dude was a practice run. He's going to bring your true soulmate, and your true soulmate is going to need you whole. So that's what I'm working on, being whole. And your true soulmate is going to need you whole. He's going to need you sane. He's going to need you happy. And bringing something to the table. He don't want your bitterness. He don't want your ex nonsense and baggage and all that foolishness. He don't want that. He wants you sane, whole, happy. Not to say you can't have problems. Yeah, you can have some, of course. But it needs to be yours. Not his, the ex. Not hers, the baby mama drama and whatever have you. Yours. Your issues. The end. The end. So you have to forgive. You have to forgive in order to be happy. That's the only way you're going to be happy. That's the only way you're going to be sane. That's the only way you're going to dehermitize yourself. That's the only way. Because then you'll stay depressed. You'll stay lonely. You'll stay in a state of grieving, sadness, anger, and blame if you don't forgive. Okay? That's my tip for you today. This is not really a tip, but this is divorce, and this is what I've gone through and seen other people go through in divorce. And it's a scary ride. It's a bumpy ride. And, you know, it's not fun. But you have to go through it. And you have to go through it properly. Not hit and miss. And let yourself feel it. Let yourself do it. Breathe it out. Go through your stages. And you can move on to happiness. Happiness is the ultimate key here. And that's the ultimate goal, is happy. I want to be happy. And I want to be happy with myself. So when that spouse does come, or that mate does come, or whatever have you, we can be happy together. And I'm not worried about him over there, you know? But anyway, so like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you liked this video. I said it was short, but it's a little bit long. But anyway, peace out.